Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Diucapkan selamat datang kepada semua pelajar baru ke Pusat Asasi UiTM. Saya Mohd bin Tahir sebagai moderator bagi taklimat dari ini. Kita akan mendengarkan satu taklimat daripada Ketua Pusat Pengajian Pusat Asasi, iaitu taklimat program Asasi TESL yang akan disampaikan oleh yang berusaha Puan, Hashima, Mohd Shukor. Jadi tanpa membuang masa, saya menyebut beliau untuk menyampaikan taklimat. Dipersilakan. Maafkan saya, laju saya ni kan. Sebelum tu, bagi memberkatilah taklimat ni, kita mulakan dengan kitab Al-Fatihah. Okey, amin ya rabbal alamin. Minta maaf ya Puan Hashima. Bagi yang dah tengok saya tadi, saya baru lepas keluar dari bilik pergi segi. Kita bermasa saya jemput Puan Hashima untuk menyampaikan taklimat beliau. Silakan.
Okey, terima kasih Encik Riza selaku moderator kita hari ini. Untuk taklimat saya mohon izin daripada Tuan Moderator untuk teruskan dalam bahasa Inggeris. Boleh Encik Riza? Boleh, okey. Saya kongsikan dahulu slide saya. Boleh nampak Cik Rizal? Okey tak? Boleh ya?
Okey, nampak.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera everyone, parents, teachers, and of course to our new students, congratulations and welcome to Pusat Asasi UiTM Cawangan Selangor Campus Dengkil. To all our 2022-2023 Asasi TESL students, congratulations for having secured a place with us here at Pusat Asasi and with the TESL program, Asasi TESL program. The purpose of my briefing today is twofold. The first one is to provide information regarding rules and regulations of the university. Some of the information that I will share with you later, you probably would have already been informed of it, but I just want to still say it, repeat it, because they are important, and just as a gentle reminder. And of course, the most important aspect of this briefing is to talk about the program, the PI020. You need to remember that, PI020 is the code program for the Asasi TESL program here in Pusat Asasi. All right, so we'll start with the first one. These are some of the gentle reminders that I would like to share with you. If you have been informed of this, I am repeating it as I mentioned earlier, because it's really important, it's crucial that you do all of this. The first one is that you have to register and validate all your courses. You have to make sure that you register and validate all your courses. Otherwise, you may not be able to sit for the final exam, especially. You have to answer the entrance and exit survey, which is at the beginning and end of the semester. You will be informed from time to time by your lecturers, by your mentors to do so. So it's all right. You know, you will feel like you have a lot of things that you have to remember. But for number two, the Haliwal Academic, HEA, will remind you, your lecturers and your mentors as well. You need to register for Mohd. Now, this is very crucial. It's important that you register for your Mohd, because when you apply for your degree studies at the end of 1 year, you have to already have your Mohd results. So you have to sit for your Mohd as soon as possible. And I think you have already attended the briefing for Mohd. But it's really important. Every year we have some students who unfortunately forgot that they're supposed to register for Mohd. And as I mentioned earlier, this is crucial, this is essential. Otherwise, it will become problematic for you at the end of 1 year if you do not sit for Mohd. Mohd is an entry requirement for a lot of programs, for many programs. So it's something that you really must make sure that you sit for it. And finally, you have to complete your students' feedback online SUFO. It's also known as SUFO at the end of the semester. Yeah, so you can see that from number 1, it starts with the first thing that you need to do here, and at the end, number 4, it's what you do at the end of the semester. As I mentioned earlier, we will give reminders. Your lecturers, your HEA will give reminders. HEP will give reminders. Your mentors also will give you reminders. Yeah. So hopefully take heed of all those reminders. Yeah.
Madam,
Yeah.
Madam, sorry Madam, slide tu tak keluar lah Madam, tak bergerak.
Oh ya. Mungkin bila slide show tu kadang-kadang tak keluar. Kalau macam ni keluar tak? Kalau saya ke bawah. Yang ni keluar tak?
Keluar.
Okey.
Present terus boleh ya?
Macam mana?
Kalau
Bila
present terus
present macam ni ya? Tak apa.
kalau dia dah sangkut dah.
Bila slide show tu macam ni. Keluar tak? Saya di page ni.
Tak keluar.
Tak apalah, saya rasa kita teruskan saja dengan macam ni.
Tak bergerak. Tadi kami blur apa benda Madam cakap ni. Tak boleh ada tu.
Oh, okey. Kalau macam tu, saya pergi balik di sini. In case for my students, if you had missed this one as well, okay, these are the 4 very important, serious, essential, crucial things that you have to do from the beginning of the semester until the end of the semester. Yeah, just in case my slides wasn't working just now. This is technology, isn't it? Sometimes they fail us, or sometimes I fail with technology. So my apologies for that one. I hope now I'm back on the slide where I was talking just now. Cik Riza boleh nampak ya yang ni? Kalau saya teruskan dengan yang selepasnya boleh nampak juga ya? Boleh ya Cik Riza?
Okay.
Okay, alright. Alright, so I was here just now. Let's move on to the next one, which is the course registration checklist. This is basically a checklist. If you haven't been given this checklist, you might want to jot it down right now. These are the things that you need to do: daftar kursus, bayar yuran, validasi kursus, cetak validasi, and cetak slip peperiksaan. These are all very important things that you have to do. It's not at one time. It's over the semester, over the period of the whole semester. So like for example, daftar kursus is something that you do at the beginning of the semester. Bayar yuran at the beginning of the semester. If you have some issues with fees, you can always come to me. I will direct you to the relevant individuals to help you out with that one. Validasi kursus dan and the rest as well. Yeah, so it's over the period of the whole semester. This is your first semester, so you will find it sometimes, to some of you may find this to be a little bit overwhelming, but it's actually not so bad as long as you pay attention to the announcements by BHEA, announcements by your lecturers and your mentors. You should be okay. Okay, so I'm going to this one. As I mentioned earlier, Mohd is highly essential. It's crucial. It's compulsory for all Asasi students. It is compulsory, but it is your responsibility. You have to remember that it is compulsory, but we do not take charge of that. We at Pusat Asasi, we do not take charge of that. What we do is we remind you, we tell you that these are the dates and so on and so forth. As I mentioned earlier, you have also attended the talk, the briefing for Mohd. I hope you had jotted down the dates as well. It is purely your responsibility because we are not involved in the process of registration and administration of Mohd. So you have to make sure that you register as soon as possible. Yeah, we have had cases where students would sit for Mohd for the first time and they're not very happy with their results. So you want to do it early, because if you're not happy with your results the first time around, you may be able to sit for the second one, which is Mohd on demand. So you don't want to wait until the end, because without Mohd, your application for UPU will not be considered. Maybe at this point right now, you don't know yet what you want to do after Asasi, but I would suggest actually that you go through the entry requirements, the Mohd entry requirements for some of the programs that you probably have in mind that you might want to do, like Mass Comm, Faculty of Education, TESL, literature, not just at UiTM, but also other universities, so that you know what is the band that you should achieve, you should obtain in order for you to be able to apply for all those courses. Yeah. So that's why it's important, because you may want to apply for TESL, and we want a band 4, but if you don't get band 4, you will not be you'll be considered to be unqualified for the course. Yeah, so we have had students, as I mentioned earlier, we have had students who didn't do so well with the first time Mohd test, and they sit for the second time around and they passed. So it's not only that it's important for you to sit for it, but it's also important for you to sit very early. Don't wait till the very last minute. Yeah. The next one, this is our academic calendar. I believe you have also been given this information. You can get this online as well if you had missed out the information shared with you earlier. But this is the academic calendar for our sessions. Yeah. So you can see that we have, we're going to start on the 15th of August until the 2nd of October for 7 weeks, where we're going to have lecture, and then you're going to have your mid-semester test, and then you're going to have your break, and then you come back for lecture, you have your revision week exam, and then you have your semester break for a little bit, and then you come back in January. Okay, and that will be your second semester. You probably will finish or complete Asasi program around April or May. All right, and it is also during that time that you will fill in your UPU form. Okay, so if you may think like, oh, it's lama lagi and all that, but it's not, especially in relation to Mohd, because Mohd is not organized every day. It's not. So there are dates that you have to sit for. So if you miss one date, you have to make sure that you will be able to sit for the second one, and so on and so forth. Yeah. All right. So this is the academic calendar. You should take heed of these dates, because these are the classes. For example, you can see lecture 15th August to the 2nd of October in 2022. So during the 7 weeks, you should share also with your parents. Yeah. There's this academic calendar. Because this isn't the time that you should go for holidays and whatnot, yeah, because you will miss your classes. And if you miss your classes, you'll have to catch up on your own. And also later on, I will show you about attendance. So it's important that you share with your parents your academic calendar. If you have any plans to go for holidays, it should be during the mid-semester break, which is 10th to the 16th of October, or during the semester break at the end of the year, this year, 26th of December until the 22nd of January. So there's ample time for holidays. There's ample time for vacations. Just try your best to plan not during the lecture weeks, yeah, for 7 weeks as well. For 14 weeks, we have 14 weeks in the whole semester for the first 7 weeks and the second 7 weeks. Okay. So this is the attendance that I was talking about. You must fulfill 80% attendance requirement. This is a minimum, yeah. Of course, we want you to come 100%, but for whatever reasons you cannot make it to class, you have to make sure that you adhere to the 80% attendance requirement. Of course, if you are not well, and right now we're still in transition from pandemic to endemic, if you are COVID positive, you have to be quarantined and whatnot. That's okay. As long as you share with us your MC, you share with us your evidence for all those reasons, valid reasons, then it's fine. But we're talking about possibility of you missing classes because you don't feel like coming to class for whatever reasons, yeah. You must make sure that you adhere to that 80% attendance requirement. Otherwise, you will be given the ZEC status, in which you may be barred from sitting for final examination. And the first warning for the first 10% of absenteeism 2 times without valid reasons. You'll be given warning letters And after the 2 times, then if you don't take heed of the advice from your mentor and your lecturer, then you may be barred from sitting for final examination. Now, this is only a 1-year program. If you fail one course or one code in the first semester, you will have to bring it to the second semester. Okay, and that's challenging. I'm not saying it's not doable. It is doable, but I'm just saying that it is challenging because you have other courses that you have to manage. So you don't want to go there. Yeah, you don't want to do something that you know that I am telling you right now is going to be tiring, exhausting, overwhelming. So adhere to that 80% attendance requirement. When you have to go to class, you go to class. Okay, if you're not well, make sure you have an MC. Okay, if you're not well, this Pusat Kesihatan. For those of you who are already here, you know that the Pusat Kesihatan is over here. For those who are not here, when you come here, you will be able to see that it's just a stone throw away. For you to walk, it's not far. To get the MC from Pusat Kesihatan. Yeah, you don't even have to leave the campus. So there shouldn't be a problem for you to get yourself the MC or time off letter, from the doctor. Okay, and most importantly, of course, if you have other issues that you think are important, that's causing you to not be able to attend classes, it's important that you speak to your lecturers. You speak to your mentor, or you can come and see me as well if there are issues. Don't be silent. Yeah, if you have issues, you should come to any one of us that you are comfortable with. All right, so this is the attendance, and that's why earlier just now I said that take a look at the academic calendar. You should get yourself a notebook or with the little boxes of dates so that you can write there. Oh, okay, wait, I'm very traditional, right? So you guys probably already have that in your iPad. So you should have those dates, these are classes, lecture time, so I shouldn't go for holidays or vacations and whatnot. But if during those first 7 weeks and the next 7 weeks, you have issues, health issues and whatnot, that would affect your attendance, your 80% attendance, you have to make sure that you have to speak to us, yeah? Okay, let's go to the next one. Extracurricular activities. All right. It is compulsory for you to participate in extracurricular activities because there is a 10% merit. Okay. Some people are not into this. All right. Some people are into this. Now, some people say that you have to be an extrovert in order for you to participate in extracurricular activities. But there are many clubs here. You don't necessarily have to be an extrovert. All right. Like a 100% an extrovert in order for you to participate with extracurricular activities. Choose a club that would suit your personality best. Choose the club that would allow you to gain as much knowledge as possible. Venture outside from your comfort zone and choose that particular club. And you'll be surprised what you would learn out of that experience. Regardless of what I've just mentioned just now, what's important here at this point right now for me to emphasize is that it is compulsory. Because when you fill in your UPU form, all the programs actually do not just look at your CGPA. It's not just your CGPA, okay? So it's not just you hitting the books every day and forgetting about extracurricular activities. You have to have that participation mark of 10% from your extracurricular activities. Otherwise, some faculties or some universities will consider you to be not an all-rounder. We want someone who is who would excel academically, but who would also be able to do well with extracurricular activities. Now, some of us may feel that, why is it so important in extracurricular activities? We do so well with our courses and all that. But when you go to your classes, you tend to spend a lot of time learning about the subject. With your extracurricular activities, this is where you hone and sharpen your leadership skills. You develop a lot of friendships across the program. All right, if you will be with your friends, your TESL friends, from morning till at the end of the day, and then when things start to pick up, you will have group discussions and whatnot. So you'll be with TESL students all the time. But with extracurricular activities, you will be able to meet other students from engineering, from science, and from law, and you will be surprised at the things that you can learn from them, because this is where you have the sciences, so you can learn a lot from them, and you also have students from law, so you can learn a lot from them as well, and they can learn a lot from you as well. So it is during the extracurricular activities that you will be able to not talk about your subject, not talk about your course, but rather, just mingle. Learn about whatever it is that you're supposed to learn from your clubs, but you mingle. And personally, from my perspective, extracurricular activities are important because it keeps you it keeps your stress at bay. It can, because it is just a 1-year program. It's classes morning to the end of the day, morning to the end of the day. I mean, not every day, but there are times where you have morning until afternoon, your classes. So that can be stressful. That can be a lot of pressure. I've heard a lot of students also saying that, when I came here, I see a lot of people who are very proficient. They do so well. They're very fluent and so on and so forth. And they start to feel really stressed out. So extracurricular activities will take you out from there. Do sports. I've seen a lot of students, sometimes they just cycle around the campus. They play frisbee. There's futsal. There are a lot of things. There's badminton. We have Bookopolis here, where you can just sit there and read the books over there. It's just right there. You just got to pick up a book and just read, and then you can put it down. And yeah, that's it. You don't have to be thinking about studying all the time. If we didn't have extracurricular activities, then you wouldn't have an outlet. All right. So look at extracurricular activities not only because it's compulsory, so that you can get that 10% merit, but go beyond that. Yeah, you want to look at it more than that. That it is also an outlet, a platform for you to de-stress. Okay. All right. This is Sasia Rupadiri Pelajar UiTM. I think you saw that in the loop earlier. But again, this is one of the things that I wanted to remind our TESL students. Yeah, TESL students are known to be very different when it comes to the way they dress. And yep, they're great and all that, but you have to make sure that whatever it is that you want to wear, there's a time and place for whichever attire that you have. With here in UiTM, when you come to class or when you are within the campus, it doesn't matter if you don't have class on that day. Yeah? Even if you are going down to the cafe, yeah, you still have to adhere to the Sasiah Rupadiri Pelajar UiTM. As you can see that you don't have to be formal all the time. You can also be very casual. All right, just make sure that you adhere to this and you will be okay. All right. Next one. This is PAPS or Penasihat Akademik Pelajar Seliaan. All right, each group is assigned to a PAPS or mentor. So for example, if you have 20 classes and you are in T1, right, one of your lecturers teaching one of your courses, one of your codes, let's say writing, may be your mentor. All right, so you will see your mentor every week. So your mentor for the TESL program, yeah, I'm not speaking for all the other programs because they may do things differently. But for TESL, that's how we do it. We try our very best that your mentor will be the lecturer that will be teaching you one of your codes. This way, you will see him or her every week. So if you have issues, you have problems with them or with whatever it is that you're experiencing here at the campus, you can see them. So you don't have to set an appointment to see your PAPs for TESL students, because as I mentioned earlier, we try our very best to assign a mentor who is currently who would be teaching you as well. Okay, what is the mentor's role? Academic progress, of course, this is important. We want to make sure that you are, on track. This is a 1-year program. It's packed. It's challenging. I'm not going to. I'm not going to sugarcoat. Yeah. It's packed. It's challenging. But it's interesting. I mean, it's exciting. So sometimes we can lose track. Some people lose track because it's so exciting. It's so interesting, so they lose track. Sometimes some students, they lose track because they feel that it's too packed. There could be a lot of reasons, a variety, multiple reasons for some students not doing so well academically. So that's where your mentor comes in. Your mentor keeps track of your academic progress. So for example, if you are in T1 and I'm your mentor, but you have other lecturers as well teaching you other courses there, and one of your reading lecturer, your reading lecturer could come and see me and say, you know what, there's this one student hasn't been coming to class and so on and so forth. So I keep track of that as well. Okay, why is my mentee, why is my my child in my class not attending classes? Is she or is he having any problems? It could be a lot of problems. It could be problems with friends. You are staying here, but I've come across a lot of cases of students who have problems with family as well, So those are some of the reasons that can impact negatively to students' academic progress. And that's where your mentor comes in. We don't only check on your academic progress, but as you can see, the last point here is that you have us as your shoulder to cry on as well. Because this is, who else do you have other than us here? So that's why we have your mentor, or your PAPs. Other than that, of course, discipline, attendance, submissions of assignments. Mentor's role is to monitor that as well. Course registration and validation, as I mentioned earlier, you will be reminded from time to time. MCs, extracurricular marks, and so on and so forth. This is why your mentor, this is why you're assigned to a mentor. It's exciting. It's interesting. It's nice to have a mentor because it's like your point of reference. Yeah. So if you don't feel like seeing me, don't want to see the KPP, you don't want to see other lecturers, you just want to see your mentor. As I mentioned earlier, you don't have to set an appointment because you will see this lecturer every week anyway. But having said that, you don't have to be confined to your mentor only. If you are more comfortable talking to another lecturer who is not your mentor, that is fine. Yeah, we just assign one so that there is a point of reference for you. But if you're not comfortable for whatever reasons, there are other lecturers available. All right. So this is your PABs, and there will be a day, not a day, like a slot assigned where your mentor will go to you. Will come and talk about a lot of things. That means she's not teaching, he or she is not teaching. It's outside from class time. And I know a lot of students before this, they love that slot because that is the slot where they really get to talk about a lot of things, not about the course, not about the program, not about assignments, and so on and so forth. And they sometimes meet up in class and they bring food and so on. It's a little bit difficult with COVID, of course, but it can still be done with SOPs. So don't look at mentors as like policing you. We are not. We keep track of you. Okay, it is our obligation, but we want to get to know you as well. We want to enjoy friendship as well with you. Yeah, because we are your lecturers, yes, of course, but we also can develop friendships. Let's move on to the next one. We have class reps and assistants. Every class will have two individuals who will be the class rep as well as the assistant. And these two people will be appointed by you or and your mentor. Okay, and what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to assist lecturers in communicating with group members after lecture hours. We cannot have, most lecturers teach 18 hours, so that's like 4 or 5 classes. So they cannot have every student asking question and sending messages. So what you need to do as a class rep and as an assistant is to compile questions if there are any and ask your lecturers so that it's more manageable. Yeah, I would really recommend that you volunteer as class reps and assistants. If you're already a class rep or an assistant the first semester, in the second semester you most likely will not be a class rep or an assistant, so that you can give the opportunity to others. But I highly recommend that you volunteer for it, because there's so much that you can learn from holding that post. Yeah, managing your friends. Sometimes it seems easy, but it's not. Until you hold the post, you won't know. So it seems easy, but it's not, because you have to manage your friends. You have to manage the multiple questions coming at different times. And when there are some of the questions that you already know the answer to, you will have to respond to that, because you don't want to ask questions that you already know the answer to your lecturer. So it can be a lot of work, but it's good for leadership skills. Yeah, so I would really recommend that you volunteer. Okay, or if your mentor were to say, okay, I want you, okay, you Fatima, you be the class rep, or you be the assistant, just say yes. Okay, I'll take it all in stride, and I will be the class rep, or I'll be the assistant. Okay, I have so many of my previous students before saying, I don't want to be a class rep, I don't want to be an assistant. But at the end of the semester, some of them even asked me, can I be the class rep for next semester? No, yeah. We usually say no to that, because we want other people to have the opportunity. Right. This is the second part of my briefing. Yeah, so earlier I mentioned that the briefing is twofold in terms of its purpose. The first one is to talk about the reminders about the core, about what you need to do here as a student, and the second one is about the program. But we will start here with the organization structure. We'll look at Pusat Asasi and the Faculty of Education. I'll explain to you why we are going to look at the Faculty of Education here. All right, we're just going to breeze through this one, because I believe you have already also been given this information. Here in Pusat Asasi, we have the director, and then we have 3 deputy directors. And when it comes to the program, academic program, we fall under the Deputy Director of Academic Research and Innovation, headed by Dr. Ikhwan Naim Matnawi. And this is where I am. So if you have any questions about your curriculum, your assignments, issues, and so on and so forth, and you would like to talk about it with me, I should be able to respond to that. If you have any questions about extracurricular activities and so on and so forth, I can respond to that as well, but I would probably direct you to HEP, headed by Encik Zaidi Yaakob. Okay, so that's Pusat Asasi. So Pusat Asasi, as you know, is in Dengkil, and this is where we are. This is where the program is. It is managed by Pusat Asasi. Your classes are in Pusat Asasi Dengkil. Your lectures are here as well. So we are centralized here. All the Asasi programs are centralized at Pusat Asasi UiTM, which includes us, Asasi TESL. Yeah. Let's look at the next one, which is the Faculty of Education. Now, why are we looking at the Faculty of Education? The reason why we look at the Faculty of Education is because the program also is partly owned by the Faculty of Education. All right. You will see later when you come here and you have your student card. When you turn it over, you will see Faculty Pendidikan. All right. So the Faculty of Education is the sort of owner of the Asasi TESL program. So they don't, but Faculty of Education, they do not administer the classes, they don't manage the classes, and so on and so forth. That's where Pusat Asasi comes in. But when it comes to the academic quality, Pusat Asasi does the same thing as well. Of course, that's why we have the academic deputy director. But in terms of the, issues like curriculum review and so on and so forth, and maintaining quality of the program, that's where the Faculty of Education would come in. All right. We have the Dean, Associate Professor TS, Dr. Sharifah Huzaina Sayaris, and then we have 3 Deputy Directors. It's quite similar to Pusat Asasi. It's just that it's a Faculty of Education. So you belong to both Pusat Asasi and Faculty of Education. So you are a student at Pusat Asasi. You are also sort of a student of Faculty of Education. Okay, because the PI 020 program belongs to the Faculty of Education. What is the Asasi TESL program? I have, in my experience, whenever I go to class the first time, I would ask the students, so what do you know about the Asasi TESL program? How did you find out about the Asasi TESL program? And all of them said, not all, sorry. There quite a number of them would say, well, it's the only subject I'm good at. Not good with math. I'm not good with science. So that's why I go for TESL. But I don't really know what the Asasi TESL program is all about. So if you have a look at this, it is a 1-year prep program for 2 semesters. All right. So it's fast track. That means, and that's the reason why if you fail a course or a code in first semester, you have to bring it to semester 2. Later on, I'll show you the curriculum structure so you can see the number of subjects that you will have to take every semester. It is skill-based program. Your English language proficiency is the emphasis here. Now, all of you here had already passed the entry requirement, which means you came here with an A in English, all right? So you are the crème de la crème that we had chosen to be part of the program. And so when you come here, your proficiency level, what we want to do is to push it even further. All right, so there's a lot more hot and lots questions. There's higher order thinking questions and lower order thinking questions as well. There's a lot more application. What's important here for you to remember is its application. We do not just lecture. We have one theory, but the rest of the time, it's application time. The rest of the time, your lecturers will want to see what have you understood from the theory and how do you apply it? Because understanding theory doesn't mean that you will be able to apply it. So that's what we do in the Asasi TESL program. We try to further hone your English language proficiency, which, as I mentioned, is already at the very top. You came in with an A. But it's an in-depth skill-based program, yeah? So we go deep into it. If you learned grammar before this, your teacher probably said, okay, there are 3 situations when you should use present tense, when you're talking about facts, when you're talking about daily activities, habits, and so on and so forth. But here you will learn why facts. What is it about facts that's making it that made it important for us to use present tense? Why can't we use future tense? So it's not just about memorizing it. It's not just that. That's why it's called in-depth. That's why it's an in-depth skill-based program. It is an entry to degree courses in IPTA via UPU. Our main objective here is to get you to apply into the B.Ed TESL program, Bachelor of Education TESL program with UiTM especially, as well as other universities. But it's an open program. If you by the end of 1 year, you feel TESL is not my cup of tea, then that's fine. You can apply for other courses as well. I'll show you also later what are some of the possible faculties that you can apply. It's an open system, yeah. So you can apply, but it's considered an entry to degree courses, and it's highly sought after because it's only 1 year. Unlike a diploma where you have to sit for 2 to 3 years, this is only a 1-year program. And with your Asasi TESL certificate or Asasi certificate, you use that to apply into degree courses. So you've done Asasi for 1 year, and then you go and do your degree for another 4 years. So by the end of 5 years, you should be a graduate already. Okay, inshallah. If you look at the last point, the main objective is to prepare students for TESL degree programs at UiTM and other public universities or private universities. Yeah, so That's our main objective, and because of that, our curriculum reflects that. It reflects that we want you to be really good in your proficiency, better than where you are right now. But it doesn't mean that you have to take the TESL degree program. But because that's our main objective, we don't do anything else. We don't just because you want to do mass comm doesn't mean that we have to teach you journalism, for example. All right, the main objective is to prepare you for the TESL degree program. But because it's an open program, it's open system, you can apply to go into mass comm if you would like to. This is our program aim. If you look at the words that I've bolded, we've got excellent, creative, responsible, and country's aspiration to be a developed nation. So it's a bigger picture. Yeah, you can see that we don't say proficient English language speakers and so on and so forth. We don't say that. What we're saying is, this is what we aim for you to be able to do at the end of your 1 year study here. That you should be able to excel, that you should be able to be a creative and responsible person in supporting our country's aspiration to be a developed nation. It's definitely a bigger picture. So you will see every code would have different learning outcomes that would go towards this. Yeah, so all your programs would go towards preparing you to become excellent students, to become creative students and responsible students, and so on and so forth. Right, so this is our aim. It's a bigger picture. It's not just about TESL. Let's look at the program structure for semester 1. This is what we will start doing in semester 1. 15th of next week you will start. These are the courses. Yeah, so you've got fundamentals of academic reading, fundamentals of writing, fundamentals of listening, speaking, as well as grammar 1. If you look at the words that I've got in parentheses, they are all core courses. These are important courses because your UPU CGPA will be calculated from these 4 core courses. Yeah, I hope you have already been informed of your UPU and UITM CGPA, but if you haven't, briefly, you have 2 CGPAs. Yeah, one is UITM, which will take into consideration all of these courses that you can see here on my slide, but UPU, which will be used for your UPU application, will be only based on the calculation of the 4 core courses here that I have indicated here. So reading, writing, listening, speaking, and grammar, right? These are the TESL courses. And then you have college study skills. It's a non-core. This is a course where we develop because we feel there is a need for students to be given guidance to transition from school to university. It's not easy. For some of you, probably it's okay because you've been to boarding schools and so on, but some of those probably didn't have that experience. So there can be some issues with transition. If you've never been away from your family, now you have to make sure that you wake up on time. You have to make sure that you well financially. You've got, this is the amount of money that your parents have given you, so you have to make sure that is going to sustain you for however long, and it's probably something that you've never done before. So this is what TESL 051 is all about. Yeah, finding out what your learning skills, learning styles are. Managing your finances, doing research about learning how to do research, and so on. And then you've got TESL 082, which is Introductory Literature 1. Literature is a TESL course, highly associated with the TESL course. However, it's considered as a non-core course here. Yeah. Well, literature, of course, we have short stories, we have poems, and we have novels. We will cover all these 3. Very exciting. You will be required to talk a lot in this class. It's not just reading and then listening to me, your lecturer. You have to read and then you have to think, because your lecturer is going to ask you, why do you think the character said that? Why do you think the setting is in KL and not in Johor, for example? So you have to think, really think about the reasons why the author had chosen certain settings, or why the author had given characterization as such to some of the characters. Think about it and then ask yourself, how do I express what I have in mind right now about what I think the author is doing? Some of you will find this to be, overwhelming. But my suggestion is this: when it comes to introductory literature, always draw on your experience. Okay, a lot of the short stories, the poems, and the novels that we have selected are related to you. You just have to find where it's related to you, or maybe it's not something that you've experienced, but your friends have experienced before. So you want to find out, I want to understand that, and then you should be able to do well with the SL082. And then you have CTU 071 and IDA 071. This is the only subject where it is not taught by TESL lectures, yeah? Okay, now this is program structure semester 1. The next one is program structure semester 2. You don't have as many. You have less subjects here, but you still have the core courses here, which are academic reading, academic writing, listening and speaking, and grammar 2. These are the core courses. And then you have TLD 092, language and drama. If you like drama, then this is where you shine. We have a studio here. We can't wait to bring you there. We have a studio here where you can really show your talent. Yeah. Now, some of you say, "Oh my God, I don't like drama. I don't like to go in front up on the stage and so on and so forth." Yeah, I know. Not a lot of people do. But there's always a first time, and you always have to give it a shot. At least one time. At least you know where you stand. I've tried it, don't like it. I'm not going to take acting classes or anything like that. Okay, at least it tells you that. Okay, kita tak payah apply lah faculty yang macam tu, sebab tak kena dengan kita. Alright, and then we have CTU 072, which is again, this is a subject, and CTU 072 and IDA 072. Yeah, this one not taught by us. So only these courses. So if you were to fail one of the courses here, let's say for example fundamentals of academic reading, you have to bring it here. So you've got 24 plus 5 course credit hours, so you end up with 29 hours. So that's a lot. So you don't want to that's why we keep tabs of your progress. So you want to make sure that you pass all the courses and progress to the second course. What's our emphasis? As I mentioned earlier, lots and HOTS questions, low order thinking skill questions, and higher order thinking skill questions. We want you to share your opinion, express your ideas, express your views, your perspectives. Even if you feel that it's so different than other people, it's all right, because the whole idea is for you to have an intellectual discourse with your entire class, so that you will learn to respect other people's perspectives, other people's ideas, and so on and so forth. Or sometimes it's an idea that you never thought of. All right. We have a lot of opinion-based questions and, of course, application of knowledge. All right. These are the grades and scores. All right. You have to get at least a 50 in order for you to pass. But of course, janganlah dekat 50 ya. You want to go up here, A minus, A terus pun boleh. All right. Okay. Next one. This is how we calculate it. Your midterm is 20%, for example, and you get 12 over 20. Your assignment 1, which is outline 15, you get 10 over 15. Assignment 2, the essay, which is also 15%, 12 over 15. Your finals is 50%, and you've got 40 over 50. When you calculate all of that, that's 74, which is equivalent to a B+. All right. So you want to keep track of your marks as well. Okay. Textbooks. How many textbooks do you have? You have textbooks for all the core courses. Okay. For literature review, you do not have a textbook, but you have a novel, and then you have some photostated short stories and poems. What is the cost? 350 to 400, which is an approximate. Things are getting a little bit expensive, but if it's any consolation to you, you only buy your books once. The books that you buy in a semester 1 are also the books that you will use in semester 2, right? So you only buy it in semester 1 this semester, and you bring it over to the second semester. All right, take a look at this one. These are due dates. You will get this. All right, we will give you this. We'll share with you this, and this is where you should have your calendar so that you can put where your due dates are. So as you can see, towards the end, you will have a lot of due dates, probably overlapping. We try our very best not to overlap, but overlapping is sometimes inevitable, and that should be an experience for you to learn how to manage your time. Yeah. Where to after Asasi TESL? I mentioned this earlier. Now, this is the minimum requirement for be at TESL program, and I'm focusing only on this because this is our main program, main purpose. You have to pass all subjects, obtain a CGPA of at least 2.5, but only for you, yeah. But for non-Asasi TESL students, a little bit higher, and at least a B in 3 subjects, the 3 core courses. 3 out of the 4 core courses. You have to pass the Malaysian Educators Selection Inventory Test, which is METC, and the Mohd test you have to have obtained band 4. Otherwise, these are some of the places that you can go to. But I'm focusing only on UiTM. Yeah, we've got the Faculty of Education, which is our main purpose. You've got Faculty of Music. Are you into that? Faculty of Communication and Media Studies, if you're into journalism, PR studies, and so on and so forth. Faculty of Information Management, Business Management, Film, Theatre and Animation. A lot of our students, when they do TLD 092, which is Language and Drama, they realize that's what they want to do. So we do have our students in film, theatre and animation, and you can also go to the Academy of Language Studies, yeah? So basically all social sciences courses, you should be able to apply for it, okay? Provided that you adhere or you fulfill the entry requirements. All right. Code of conduct for face-to-face class. We've been online for so long, sometimes some of us have forgotten what is the code of conduct for face-to-face classes. First one, study the materials provided before lectures. Now with online, sometimes students are quiet, they stay silent, they switch off their camera, but in class, you will be asked questions. And if it were me, if I ask you a question and you don't respond, I will say, okay, I'll come back to you. I will definitely come back to you. And most lecturers do that, yeah, because we want to make sure, we want to check your understanding. We're not trying to embarrass you or anything like that. We're trying to make sure that you understand, that you have read it. So if you don't like to go through that where you are asked a question and you cannot respond to it, make sure that you study the materials provided before lectures. Ask questions as you read and then seek clarifications during lectures. Ask questions. Ask as many questions as possible. Do not be shy. Do not be embarrassed. Learn to raise your hand and ask questions. Okay? You won't know until you ask the question. Respond to your lecturers and friends. Do not be quiet all the time. I'm not saying that you have to be hoo-ha all the time. I'm just saying that when there are questions, participate in the communication, the discourse, because that's only respectful, all right? Even if you don't have anything to say, you want to respond by saying, yep, I think it's a good idea. Oh, okay, I agree, something like that. And take notes. And most importantly is uphold ethics. Do not plagiarize, do not cheat, yeah? We know that there are a lot of tools out there. So we're working towards making sure that you won't be able to use all those tools. You can use those tools to enhance your understanding, but not for you to submit your assignments. Tips for success. Can you succeed here? A lot of our students have, so it's doable. It's definitely not impossible. Remember God, your family, your parents. Be responsible, be proactive, respect others. There are others who are better than you. There's also you where you are better than others. It doesn't matter. We are all different and we have our own strengths and weaknesses. It's no problem. Just respect each other. You have to have a thirst for knowledge. You are here for knowledge. You are at the university, the ivory tower, for knowledge. If you have no thirst for knowledge, this is going to be a tall order for you, yeah? Okay, so the university, this is what you need to have. You have the thirst for knowledge. Why? Why did she say that? I want to know. I want to know more. Ask questions. Self-discipline. Read. Unfortunately, I have a lot of students saying, I don't like to read, okay? But you have to read. Okay, we can't experience everything, so you have to read. Balance academic and non-academic obligations. This is important because we don't want you to be too overwhelmed with your academic obligations. I want to share with you, I'm coming to the end already, I want to share with you some quotes that I find interesting, yeah? An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. What you're doing here right now is an investment. You're investing in yourself, okay? The university is investing in you. The government is investing in you. You are investing in yourself. What are you investing for? It's a long-term investment, yeah? You're investing in knowledge that would pay the best interest. Why? Because you will know things, you have the knowledge and you'll be able to make informed decisions. So it's an investment that is probably not monetary, but it's an investment that is the best, that gives you the best interest, because it gives you intelligence, it gives you empathy, it gives you understanding, it gives you the ability to think, and that's very important. Yeah, you must be able to think and not just make decisions just like that. Next one. Learning is not the product of teaching. Learning is the product of the activity of learners. So remember, it's not just my job, it's also your job. Okay, it's very important for you to remember that you come here not just to listen to lectures and be spoon-fed. You cannot expect us to spoon-feed you. You have to make sure that you do your part. We do our part, you do your part. We should be okay if we both understand our obligations. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think, all right? So you can't just memorize things. When you memorize, you forget. I'm sure, I don't know about you, but I'm not good with subjects where I only need to memorize. Even if I had already memorized it, over a period of time, I forget it. So what does that mean? Have I learned anything? Until you see a change in your behavior, a change in the way you think, you have not been educated. So you want to educate yourself to a point where you will be able to see change in your behavior, all right, towards something better. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Now, look at the word world here from not just one perspective, not the entire country and whatnot. Yep. If for me, for example, when I go to class, that's a world to me. If I can impact, I can affect change to 30 of my students, to me, I think I have made some change. Because then when I've changed my students, I don't mean change, I mean make them become thinkers. Then when you go out into the society, you become thinkers as well. That's what we need in the society. Yeah, thinkers. We don't need memorizers all the time. You need theories, you need to memorize things, but at the end of the day, you need to think what you can do with the theories. And finally, the best among you are those who bring greatest benefits to many others. I think many of us have heard this. When you come here, don't just think about yourself, think about others as well. Look at your friends if they're not going through a good time, take time to ask, make your time to ask, are you okay? Do you need help? So on and so forth, because you're here, yes, of course you're here, your main purpose is to study, but that's not all. Yeah, it's also developing friendships, relationships, getting to know people, learning about yourself, learning values and whatnot. And think of yourself 5 years from now. As I mentioned just now, Asasi is 1 year, and then 4 years, you've got your degree studies. In 5 years, what do you want to do? Whatever you do here should be in service of what you want to achieve in 5 years. Okay? So I hope I have given you some idea about what the program is all about. This is what I have to say. Enjoy your new adventure. I am sure you will enjoy it. I'm sure you'll find it very exciting. There are ups and downs, some overwhelming times, challenging times. You may cry, blood, sweat, and tears will come in, but life would be boring if it's just stagnant, isn't it? Go with the flow, ride it, you should be okay. Otherwise, remember, I'm here, your lecturers are here. We're all here to help you go through this new adventure in your life. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Hashima. Nak cakap bahasa Inggeris macam mana ni? Okay, saya rasa saya dengar sama pun rasa bersemangat ni, kalau ada peluang nak buat jasa lah.
Boleh.
Okay, macam mana pun saya harap belajar yang saya dengar Madam Hashima seraskan tadi adalah berkaitan dengan kehadiran ke kuliah. Seharusnya kena beritahu, jangan keep silent, senyap saja, and then bila di akhir rancangan dia, di akhir program baru kita dapat detect dah 5-6 kali tak datang. At least kita kawan dalam satu kumpulan, at least paling akhir pun dengan mentor lah. Mungkin tengok Madam Hashima ni macam garang, tapi saya tak nampak pun mana garang. Okay, tak nak cakap ni, kena beritahu lah ya. Okay, dekat ruangan chat tu tidak ada apa-apa soalan yang nak ditanyakan. Cuma dekat situ berkaitan dengan novel, short stories, apa benda ni? Saya pun tak faham soalan dia tu. Tadi tak ada apa sangat lah, tak ada apa sangat, semua banyak thank you madam.
Okay.
Madam dah jelaskan, mereka jelas lah kot, itu saja.
Okay,
Jadi kalau tak ada apa-apa boleh saja keep. Ada satu soalan tadi, kalau ada nak jumpa madam macam mana, boleh main datang, bukannya tak boleh main datang, boleh, tapi takut masa tu madam tak ada kan, kecewa pula. Sebab ada saya nak jumpa madam pun saya text dulu, ada tak madam. Jadi madam kata ada, baru kita pergi minum. Tak, saya gurau je.
My door is always open. If you come in, nanti you sampai sini, you tahu makna blok pentadbiran and all that, right? If you come to my room and you see the door open, you just need to knock on the door and anytime.
As long I know, semua lecturer TESL is very good. Very very helpful. Boleh dikatakan I rasa bukan macam I rasa my friends lah, my good friends. Okay, so you all suppose pun anggap macam gitu juga okay, bukan anggap kawan lah, tu macam your father, your mother, macam gitulah okay, jadi itu saja daripada kami. Ucapkan terima kasih kepada Madam Hashima Mohd Shukor di atas taklimat yang telah diberikan untuk program asasi TESL. Jadi kita akhiri dengan tajwid kifarah dan surah Wanas.
Terima kasih juga ya.
Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Salam.